Okay, for this economy segment, we have clips from Josh Anderson, The Tech Show, and Aubrey Martin. Really filled with a lot of good information, and I think you're going to enjoy it.
0.1% in July, and in August, CPI-W fell 0.2%. So September is actually expected to drop anywhere from 0.2 to 0.4% month over month. If we see the largest 0.4% decline, we would actually see a cost of living adjustment as low as 8.5% because we've seen a larger decrease in the CPI-W.
I've had people ask me, if I'm on SSI, does this mean that it's the same for Social Security? Yes, it does mean the same. So if COLA is 5.9%, which it was in 2022, then it's the same percentage. The only difference is the amount that you're receiving. So if your benefit is less, then you're going to receive less. September, and we don't have that number yet. And so just looking at the way things have been going, it'll probably go down a little bit. And so we could be looking at, for September, maybe 8.4, 8.3. And so if that's the situation, averaging those out, let's say it's 8.3 or even 8.2 for September. If we're averaging that out, we're looking at still about an 8.7. Okay, 8.7% for COLA. And so I've always been around that area, 8.6, 8.7. I think the low we'd see is probably 8.6. The high that we would see is probably 8.8. That's kind of the ballpark. And so we'll take the middle. We'll take the 8.7 and we'll put that in this.
Now, it's important to note that this cost of living adjustment won't go into effect until January of 2023 for the average Social Security recipient, and it also won't be fully public until October of 2022 when the calculation period is over.
These raises are only meant to keep up with the rate of inflation for the year prior, and usually they're much less than what they should be. So, for example, most people would agree that the CPI-E is the much more accurate measurement of inflation for people on Social Security, since it reflects a lot more in what they pay for, but instead they choose to adjust the COLA based on the CPI-W, which, historically speaking, comes in much lower than the CPI-E. Now, on October 13th, which is next Thursday, they will be releasing all this inflation data, which should give us a much better idea on which way inflation is trending. On this day, we'll also know the official COLA number for people on Social Security, since we'll then have the three numbers that we need. And as I mentioned in yesterday's video, I currently predict the COLA for 2023 to be 8.7%, which is the same amount the Senior Citizens League projects as well. Now, if
the Bureau of Labor Statistics will be releasing the final data needed to make the calculation for the cost of living adjustment in the middle of October, and shortly thereafter we'll be getting the finalized cost of living adjustment. However, we've got it pretty well pegged down with 2 of the 3 months reported. So the cost of living adjustment is calculated with July through September inflation, and we've already gotten July's inflation data in August and August inflation data in September. We're now awaiting September's inflation data in October. Now, right now, the Social Security policy analysts are estimating an 8.7% cost of living adjustment, which would actually be the largest that we've seen in 41 years. But there is a range. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Now, this estimate has actually fallen from a high of 9.6% in August because we've seen unexpected drops in the CPI-W over the past few months. However, many are now arguing that CPI-W isn't the most effective way to calculate the cost of living increases that seniors are seeing, because it's very heavily focused on things like gasoline, which have come down over the past few months, but much less focused on things like housing and food, which seniors have actually labeled as their number 1 and number 2 primary concerns. And in fact, we're still seeing increases in price of housing and food over the past few months.